Hey guys, Martin here bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so today we are going to talk about the Million Arena event. The final stage obviously is up now and available for those of you who got the keys, which it seems like very much like the first round, going from the preliminaries into the semi-finals, is actually quite a lot of people. So I'm very interested if you guys let me know down below in the comments if you did receive the keys for the final, what your high score was from the semi-final, because I'm seeing reports very much like the first time of very low scores getting into this next stage, which means a couple of different things. I think the overarching thing, as of course, you know, the title and the thumbnail suggests, that this event has been an absolute disaster, a complete failure. Nobody likes it. I don't think I've seen anyone who says they do like it. And it really seems like, from the numbers that we're seeing, in order to get through to the next round, that very few people are actually even bothering to play it. Because with the first round going into the semi-finals, one big thing, and I saw some people in the comments, like, you know, putting their hands up and admitting that they'd made a mistake and that they forgot or whatever, but like, some people hadn't linked their Bandai Namco ID, which is required for ranking in the thing to actually get through to the next round. But of course that excuse is completely taken away going from the semi-finals to the finals, because you had to have your account linked to get to the semi-finals in the first place. So that means everybody who got through to the semi-final obviously had their account linked correctly, and so then the top 30,000 people out of those 100,000 that made it through to the semi-final would be picked to go forwards into the final. Now 30,000 people, like, it sounds like a lot when you think about, like, you know, as an average person, you probably don't know personally, like, you don't know 30,000 people. Like, it's a lot of people. It would fill a pretty reasonably sized, like, small venue, right? But like, it's not a lot if you think about the grand scheme of how many players play Dokkan, at least as far as we know, how many active players there are, how many downloads there are. Remember, the worldwide used to be called the download celebration, and at one point it was at, like, was the last one that was numbered like 350 million or something more than that? I can't remember. But like, obviously, as far as we know, a lot of people play this game, but seemingly a lot of people did not play this event. And it's hardly surprising, right? The event sucks. It's a punching bag event, which people don't really like anyway, because you have to mess around, start, quit, restart, so on and so forth, to try and get the best rotations that you can in order to have, you know, your nuking units or whichever strategy that you want to do. You don't necessarily have to use nuking leads or anything. Nuking characters are usually ideal, going with some orb changing and stuff like that, right? It's bad enough having to reset to get your rotations correct in order to do that, but then they make it so that the enemy actually attacks you back. And in a lot of these stages so far, in fact all three stages so far, it doesn't happen every turn, it's not like 100% guarantee, but you very often get super attacked in slot 1. So when you're building a team that's built of, like, you know, characters like orb changers who aren't particularly great defensively, like, it's very common that you can set a decent score, maybe a personal high score, and then die before the end of the turn, like, runs out and you actually get to, like, log your score. It just doesn't count. In a couple of the attempts that we did earlier on the stream, like, I had my slot 3 support, like orb changer, be the one that ate a super and then die, which is really annoying. So the event's super annoying as it is, and you have to restart, like, over and over and over again. And so let me have a look here. I did bring up the I made a tweet earlier today. Let's take a look at that here quickly. So yeah, already seeing people say they got the Million Arena finals keys with a 40 million score, right? And then it gets worse. D Simon saying he's seen people with less than 20 mil. So somebody said, yikes, so that mean like over half the people that play the game either didn't bother with the event or just did it a couple of times and said, nah, I'm good. And yeah, it seems that way. Someone got 90, which is kind of what we would expect. Got in, this is the one time I got close to the max score. Okay, so another high score. I legit only did enough damage for the Kais and got in. I'm not sure what mission that is. Now, this is someone from my stream who said in the chat that they only got 21 million, and then they posted this. Obviously it doesn't show how much damage they got, but it proves that they got the keys. And apparently, yeah, they only did one run on the semi-final, got 21 million, never bothered playing it again because they've got 199 of those keys. And then there's the 200 keys for the final, which is insane. 40 mil, yeah, I got it with 20, 21. Oh, yeah, no, this is the same person. There you go. 21 mil, and then there's the keys, right? 38 million. Oh, someone forgot to do it. So yeah, this is hard to tell whether many people didn't bother to do the event or it's a mistake because the event is just that bad. So this is the thing, right? I could see a lot of people, because almost everybody that played the preliminary pretty much got into the semi-final by the sounds of it. I'm sure I saw someone say they got as low as like 6 million and got the keys for the semi-final. I can imagine a lot of people just had maybe one go on this version, on like the semi-final version, and we're just like, okay, yeah, no, I can't be bothered, and then just stopped. So the score for the top 30,000 is not going to be particularly high. Now the problem is with this event, which makes it even worse, is now that we've got to the final, because remember the category for the semi-final was Earthbred Fighters, so there were a lot of strategies with the physical trio from the Worldwide. That's how I did it. The Family Kamehameha Gohan from the Worldwide, a couple of other different options. However, this time around, the category that you have to use is tournament participants, and this category sucks for this kind of event. There are no nuking leaders that are on tournament participants. A couple of the orb changes are, like the STR ones are both on here, Carbo and Hit, because obviously they're from the Tournament of Power. But there's not a lot of characters, when you look at this category, there's not a lot of characters that are either big nukers or like the big hard hitters outside of our boy, the brand new LR STRTN. So when this event first came out and was first announced, because it is an event that has a ranking matching players up against other players, there was already the fear, I guess if you call it that, the speculation that this was very much going to be a pay-to-win event, right? And if you're a free-to-play player, you're probably not going to be able to get into those score brackets in order to get through to the other rounds. Now, it turns out that that's not quite been the case with the earlier ones, because these low scores have been getting through to the semi-final and now the final. However, with the final being tournament participants and there being so few characters that can actually even get up to hitting like 90 million points, everybody who is pay to play, like the big whales, everybody who has the new LRTN and they have him rainbowed, they've already link leveled him, those like people, I'm only seeing people say that they've hit the 90 million points so far using LRTN. So that means that despite kind of people being able to get through, either because not many people have been playing it, or people got, you know, a couple of attempts with a low score and then just gave up, like it's been fairly easy to get through to the final if you've played it, and now you're immediately sort of like paywalled by, if you don't have LRTN, then good luck, right? Because I've tried running a friend one, a rainbow friend one, even with like the extreme hit 60% support unit on rotation. I think the highest amount of damage I've managed to do so far is like 40 something million. Because obviously running TN on like a friend lead, I think you can run it. I might try a different setup with like a 200% lead for him, but it kind of narrows down the units you can run on the team. I think the 23rd World Tournament Goku gives him a 200% lead, because I was trying out the STR Cell. And this TN is of course not on Android, but he's also not on Accelerated Battle. So this STR Cell leader that I was running only gives him a 170 lead, and then of course his own leader skill is 200. So if you have him, you're already running him under a slightly higher lead. If you're running a friend, then it increases the likelihood that you get a TN on turn 1, because you need to have this guy on turn 1, let him get hit in slot 1, which gives him a buff ready for the next turn. Then on the next turn put him in slot 2, and he gets all the bonuses that he gets for attacking in slot 2. And this is essentially the only way to kind of do it that I've seen so far from people talking about this, which it just kind of sucks. Like, I guess from a certain extent you had to know from the beginning that getting into the very final, because remember it's only 30 people that will make it through from the final to get the final prize at the end. So realistically, going into this event at the beginning, you kind of had to know, especially if you're like free to play, you probably weren't going to be making it into the top 30, because the people who are the big whales that have all the units rainbowed, like they're gonna find whatever the best strategy is, whatever the best damage dealer is, and then they've got all of the units at their disposal fully maxed out. It was always going to be difficult to get into that final bracket, but it just kind of makes the last stage a bit of a slap in the face, because this category just doesn't have those like big hitters outside of this new TN. Like, let me know if you've managed to get a decent score with anybody else. But like characters like, you know, I mean, Blue Evolution Vegeta is kind of a joke anyway. A lot of the characters on this team, a lot of them will do like multiple attacks. And overall, they can clock up a decent amount of damage in one turn, but they're not like what this event requires, which is one big massive attack. There's not a lot of nuking style characters. We did try out the Tech Cell. He's probably going to be further down, isn't he? Because this is from like, yeah, release order. Because Tech Cell, with his super easy A, he's really good. He's a nuker. Even on the STR Cell team, like with this guy picking up a full field of like changed orbs, because the the Tech second form Cell, who's the 60% extreme tech support, isn't on tournament participants, so you can't run him. I think it was just one of the other characters like Hit or something, changed the whole field of orbs to tech, to crit, picked up 23 orbs, and I think we got like 23 million or something. Like, yeah, it's just really, really tough. And like I say, none of the nuking leaders are on tournament participants, so you can't run that risky nuke lead style strategy. I ran the Tech Kefler's kind of funny to put on the team because you can make sure you just have a unit in slot 1 that doesn't take any damage because you're fighting Kid Goku, who's a pure Saiyan. But like the category just seemingly isn't built for a nuking style punch bag event apart from the new TN. So overall, the event is super annoying, very frustrating, difficult to manage. It took me 57 tries of the semi-final to get the 90 million point score, and over half of those tries would have just been loading in, seeing what my starting rotation was, and then just quitting out of the game immediately. Because I knew it wasn't going to be viable. So that's just a terrible way to play the game. Constantly having to quit out and restart, only to realise that you're not going to be able to do it on that run anyway, so you just have to quit out and restart again. Not really very fun. And then when you finally get through all those hoops, you get the high score, you make it through to the final, and then it's a terrible category that is essentially paywalled by do you have LRTN or not. Because even if you got lucky and pulled them off the free tickets, but you just have them at 55%, it's going to be very, very difficult to get those high scores and compete with all the people who do have the rainbow copies of him. So at the end of the day, I think this event is absolutely terrible. Complete fumble by Dokkan. As much as I don't like the Festival of Battles, I would say that this is probably the worst event that we've seen in quite some time in terms of how it's been designed. I think this event was a complete and utter mistake. Hopefully they don't do something like this again. I would be honest, I'll be surprised if they do. Next time they do a survey, obviously people should make sure to give their feedback on what we thought about this event. But I mean, they can see themselves from the numbers, surely. Like, imagine being the guy that put forward this idea and people get on board and it's like, yeah, we're going to have this, like, it's kind of like a tournament, right? So like only the top 30,000 people get into the final. Let's see what like the scores were. And let's see what the scores were for the 30,000 people that made it into the final. Oh, like people were getting in with like 20 million. Well, let's look at the leaderboard, like how many people actually registered scores in the event. And then they'll have that data. They'll see how many people played the event and got scores. Like, I mean, imagine how many people there are that played it once and got like 1 million or died or something, and they didn't even log a score. Like, it'd be very interesting on their side for them to see the player data, because it really seems like not a lot of people even bothered with this, which I can't blame them because it's a terribly designed event. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like I said, if you got into the finals, do let me know what score you got. Let me know if you've managed to get the 90 million or even the full 999, especially if you weren't using a rainbow TN. Let us know how you guys got on, but let me know all your thoughts on this event. Make sure you let them know your thoughts on the event the next time we get a survey, but let me know all that down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.